Did Riot write the script this year for Cloud9, or did they write the script for Fnatic? Who are better script writers?
What is
movie critics and reviewers, or Riot?
I'm confused what this video is about now. I had a completely different thing in mind.
I was gonna be like, oh my goodness, Riot writes scripts. They're gonna make movies. XD lol. All right,
Why?
so today we have a lot of news. Actually, we're going to be doing a separate video. Aside from this, so we're gonna kind of get all the news out of the way. Just fling it out of there. Just chug it out.
It's no more. Okay.
But all right, so there's a big one and little smaller stuff. All right, so I'll kind of get to the small stuff really quickly because it's me right here. I gotta do all the work around here. So Pumandu, SKT's legendary Season 3 World Championship support and now ex-coach, is now gonna be a coach on Misfits. He had been coaching SKT since 2014. It's crazy. He's been on there for 4 years. This is his 5th year in coaching. He'll be now going to Misfits. So he'll be alongside Musani and Jez's and their coaching staff. So,
well, I'm not sure about this move, honestly. It didn't. His last 2 years didn't really impress me. Like,
they still won 2 worlds.
The thing about it is, he did. They did. I do acknowledge the fact that I don't think he was the drafting coach. I think that was mostly on a. What's his name?
Did they get a new? Because they said today on when I was looking that they actually did get a new coach. I don't know if he's for drafting.
Oh, the new coach is 100% for drafting. That is the best.
No more Coma. Kinda.
Coma is
no more on stage Coma, right?
What?
Really?
I don't think Como's really ever straight up the only drafting coach. I think he's never taken on that designated role since Carter left.
No, because Korea always does that. There's usually always 2 coaches on stage anyway.
Yeah,
I know North America and EU just adopted
What I'm saying is that coach was acknowledged as probably the best drafter in Korea at the time, so that's why they picked him up, to be honest. But I think, yeah,
he's an assistant coach.
He is going to be the drafting coach. There's no way they'd let the dude who essentially had the best drafts in all of Korea with a freak of freaks like just not do drafts.
Yeah, I mean Pumandu. I mean people still remember him from his those Zyra plays back in the day. OP. But I think he will probably give a new dynamic to Misfits. Like a lot of these Korean coaches come over and they have different viewpoints to play than the other people do. Now, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about what's best for the team. But I think that when you move towards new style of coaching, I think that these people don't really mesh too well. We're only gonna have to see. I don't think it'll mesh well. I think he'll just leave after.
If you want my complete honesty, this all has to do with the dynamics of how much power the coaches have. Because in Korea, the stylistic choice of how they coach is they give coaches pretty much essentially all the power, and then they force the players into a situation where,
which is not a bad thing, though.
Well, no, that's a great thing. But
because in traditional sports,
that's how it is too. What I'm saying is, in a sense, if you give him, like, essentially he knows how to coach from a standpoint of, if you give me all the power, I can essentially force them to do these things. That's how coaching in Korea works. But the Western scene doesn't actually respect coaches enough and give them enough power to the point where I think they would be giving these people, like, they'd be essentially using their type of coaching correctly. If you can't get these people to respect and listen to the coaches and like to the point where they need to, like, then I think you should honestly just go with a Western coach because their style of coaching just won't work.
Yeah. Another piece of non-important news, I guess it's important to people. Roman, ex-Unicorns of Love team manager and ex-manager of Optic, is going to be on the the LEC broadcast in 2019.
I don't really, maybe.
He's a very interesting guy. I liked his speech he gave about, not always importing players because that's going to make them uncomfortable. It's going to make them not play too well. It's going to make them homesick,
I liked his six-pack when he took off his shirt a bunch of times.
And you're a hookla.
What does that mean? Or whatever.
but it's nice. No one's going to really replace Deficio for me.
I don't think he's trying to replace Deficio, but I don't understand. I think the Deficio was mostly Frostgaren, which I don't like that, really. But I don't understand the concept of Romain. I don't really know enough about him besides him on Unicorns of Love.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
You didn't see too much of him on Optic, honestly.
He really didn't make much of a scene on Optic, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah. But now we get to something else. We get to another juicy piece of news that I knew was going to happen because it happens every single year with this guy. Reignover is now released from CLG. The official statement Thank you, Reignover.
I think
the thank you videos are implying that it's like the guys are dying. So many thank you videos.
I'm actually extremely sad about this, to be honest. I don't know what's gonna go on with this team now. Not with this team, but more so with Reignover. That's kind of a bad note to end your career off of. He had 2 great years in a row, and then it all honestly fell apart.
1 year and a half. Because they didn't make Worlds in the summer split.
He still played well. He was one of the best performing junglers in the league.
Thank you, Reignover. We thank you for always giving your all, and we know you will do amazing things whenever you go next. Best of luck in your future endeavors. These thank you video guys are always like the players have just like had a funeral. It's crazy. But I love those thank you videos sometimes. I've seen Reignover do this every single year. It doesn't surprise me that he leaves CLG. Fnatic, Immortals, Team Liquid, now CLG. If he just doesn't, he's that type of player where if he just doesn't find success in that year, he just leaves.
Yeah, all that non-success he found on this World Semifinals, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, like, if he doesn't feel like he's going to have the same type of success... I mean, he hasn't had technical great success since he left Fnatic.
I'm going to be honest.
He also hasn't had Huni.
I still think, although he's underperforming, I think in terms of what he does, I think his pathing is still good. His gank choices are the biggest problem, what I see, though. Like, he paths well to, provide good ganks, and then I feel like his ganking itself is not optimal. I feel like he kind of lacks in that. It's more so his ability to pull off ganks properly. I like the way he moves around the map, but I don't like what he does when he gets to the points where he thinks he needs to do something. I don't like what he became. He became he was always a pretty decently passive jungler. I think he literally
just became a team ward.
Well, he was always a passive jungler, but I feel like it doesn't work when your team's not good. He's been on 2 bad teams in a row, and he consistently tried to play this passive jungler, and no one's gonna take the lead. No one's gonna take the lead from Reignover because no one's able to. You had a team of what was it?
Golden Glue,
yeah.
Golden Glue, Matt, Lorelo, and
and then
Piglet.
And then you had a team of Darshan and Huhi, and Huhi's a good player. But he's not extremely good. He's not somebody who I would say, I'll say he's one of the better NA mid laners, but I still don't think he has what it takes to be a superstar. He's not going to push that team over the edge. That's why I don't think this style choice that Reignover picked, it's just not going to work with that team.
And then this will lead into a really big piece of news today. As you guys all know, that with Sven and Smoothie playing on TSM, that means either Mithy is going to probably leave, and it confirmed it today. They released, "Thank you, Mithy, for your hard work and passion you brought to the team during your time. Best of luck with your future inventions." So before I reveal where he goes, I would like to point out that when they actually announced that they were leaving G2 last year, in 2017 to transition over to 2018, I like how they mentioned that they wanted to come over here and win and be the first, NAEU title winners or whatever, and build a legacy with TSM since I was winning. And then one bad year goes, and then they split up. So, like I said, some of these contracts for esports don't really matter. People say things first part of the year, oh yeah, this is going to happen, and I believe in this, we're going to do this, and then it doesn't really ever pan out that way. People always tend to leave when a bad year happens, because people have to factor in, when you're playing in a whole year, you're playing for, let's see, the season ends November, October, you're playing for almost 10, 11 months with the same people, and if it's just not working out, I don't really see a point in staying, but it's just something I like to bring up that people do. But Mithy is now going to be with Kold on Origen. So it's Alphari. Yeah,
Kold, Nuke Duck.
Alphari, Kold, Nuke Duck, Mithy, and Sheriff. Let's run down that roster kind of quickly.
The bot lane, I think this is a kind of confusing lane to me because I think Sheriff's a good player, but I think shut up. But I think that Mithy himself is kind of lacking. He's been underperforming for the past 2 years. We've seen that. But I think what he provides for the team, I'm gonna say this again. I think in this situation on an EU team, I think that his shot calling again he's gonna be able to provide that for a team. I think that TSM we're still in a situation where they refuse to listen to any other shot caller besides Bjergsen, and I think that that's just never gonna work with a team like any other team. Yeah. I mean, any other imported player.
Well, we're actually gonna go over that in depth actually.
But what I'm saying is, I think
just on paper.
Yeah. But I'm saying the biggest problem I have with this move is you bringing in. I respect Alphari. I like Alphari as a player. I think he's a good player.
Gonna be fine. Kold was trying to carry Unicorn to love, and we was a pretty decent jungler.
I think that Kold is looking pretty decent. Yeah. I think that
team just couldn't function.
I would like to see him how good he performs on a good team, but we don't know yet. But Alphari, Nuke Duck on a good team, on what I essentially hope is a good team, I think that he's gonna like already Nukeduck himself provides a lot for a team.
Oh, I forgot. Schalke's ex-coach, coach of the split of summer, is gonna be their coach. Golito.
I don't think he's had enough success to get my like. I think his like I do respect the fact that he brought Schalke out of like nothing, but I don't think Schalke was that far ahead in the summer split.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in their summer split, I do not. I think that Schalke became.
They went on like some 10-game win.
They did. They looked. I don't think that they were to an extent. They didn't make it to Worlds. I don't want to blame that on him solely.
Mm-hmm.
But he did. He did provide for the team. They looked awesome in playoffs. But I don't know if it was a hot streak or him. I'd like to see him on a team that's not coming off of a hot streak before I give him full credit. But
Nukeduck, I would love to see this guy go to Worlds.
He's played well enough to where I think he would perform well at Worlds. I'd like to see him at Worlds too. I think this bot lane is the biggest what if. If that it's like Mithy doesn't have to perform. He doesn't have to come back to form. It's most likely just not going to happen at this point. But what could happen is that we could see a team with a pretty decent. Like I honestly think that Mithy is a great shot caller. So good shot calling, with a good ADC, a good top laner, good mid laner, and honestly, I mean Kold has not been on a good team. Maybe he won't perform as well when the stress of carrying is not solely on him. Maybe he will. I think he's gonna perform well though because he kind of showed that he could. But for the most part, I think that it's gonna
wasn't even his fault that they were like 10th place.
This is gonna be a lower tier playoff team. I think they're going to make playoffs, but honestly, it's EU, so they could be first place for all I know. I have no idea.
With EU for the past years. Okay. Let me kind of run it down myself. Like I said, I still don't think Sheriff is that impressive. I think he had like one good game last year, and that was like the game he had the Xayah kills, and that was like his only impressive game to me. He still played okay. I think we'll have to see what type of player he is when it comes into.
I really like this. I just don't understand what kind of game.
He's an okay player.
He was a definite top half of the ADC.
Yeah, like he's still an okay player, but like you pair him up. Wait, who was his support? His support oh god, his first last year was Promise Q.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, on top of the fact that I think he was one of the better looking ADCs, he didn't have a good, like, amazing team around him.
Oh yeah, but not without Promise Q, right?
Yeah, whatever that player was.
I don't think he's gonna get a team anymore. But this is an interesting team actually.
Really?
So we're gonna see the Twitch emojis come out. When does Origen play? Okay, that pretty much covers that. I think that they'll be, I want to say playoffs.
I think they're gonna be at the lowest,
at the 6th place team.
I think they could either barely miss the playoffs or make the play. I think this team honestly has potential, but from just past results, I'm gonna say they're gonna be a lower of the pack playoff team.
People do Mithy.
Mithy is not
function better in EU than
he does. I feel like people respect him in EU, and that's it's not even just EU. It's on teams that don't have overwhelming amounts of like voices on the comments.
I say egos, but that's just
that's a good one too. I just didn't want
like
to sound
when someone is like so stuck up, they don't want to listen to someone else calls.
I don't want to do stuck up. I think that when somebody's ego is large, but
yeah, it's really weird. Like some people just can't believe that someone else's other opinion could be right, which is mind blowing. We got a weird situation. There's G2 got in trouble. Now I'm actually still reading this while we're actually recording because I'm still confused myself. So he read it faster than I did because he was just a genius, and we're gonna have him explain it better than me.
So what happened is essentially teams are accusing Perks of himself coming onto his league, using his league account to approach teams and approach players, like, and say, "Can you come onto our?" He's trying to convince them to come onto his team, which is 100% against the rules. When somebody is contractually obligated to stay with the team for a specific amount of time, you're not allowed to approach them without the team's consent.
The only way in which that can be like a loophole is that when the off season kicks in, the contracts state that it's an off season. The orgs give the players permission, and then usually you'll see it through Twitter, and they'll be like, the org is giving me permission to look at teams.
Yeah,
so you can't do this anywhere between January to like October at all.
Honestly, you can't even always do it on the 100%. The thing is, the org has to give you permission. The org has to give permission on top of the fact that you have to get permission from the org. You cannot approach a player until the org says it or their contract.
That's why you guys see a bunch of Twitter pro players tweeting, "Hey, the org allow me to look at teams and whatever," and retweets available too. So
yeah, so I'm saying that was absolutely
because we've seen a situation before. Samsung Galaxy tried doing this.
No, it wasn't just them. Remember Envy with Ninja? Ninja.
They TDK.
It was Envy /TDK. Yes.
Oh yeah.
So TDK tried to import Ninja, which was against the rules because he was still obligated to stay with that team. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest.
He was on a freak back in the day.
I'm gonna be honest. That team would have destroyed NA by the end of it. They looked so strong when they imported their team.
Like Ninja, Smoothie, and
like that team looks.
Seraph. Listen, Seraph wasn't bad.
Seraph wasn't bad until the end of his career, man.
And he didn't know how to TP anymore.
He didn't know how to kill minions or literally anything.
Oh, but yeah. But if you guys read the article in depth, they said this actually had been happening for a long
2016,
time.
I think, is when it started.
Sven and Mithy. There was talks with Otawamne. There was talks with Upset. Because people realized that G2 on their team, Perks is the team captain. So it's kind of like the Afro situation in North America where he gets to pick who he wants to play with. That's what, and then Ocelot kind of goes with that if he, deems it as enough to be part of the team. So there's a lot. I mean, the odds are stacked against him. I mean, it's only $10,000. G2's really rich.
It's not about the money. It's more so about the if this is proven to what I believe.
This is proven to be true.
I do think there is a ban on professional play for 5 to 10 months.
See, that's the problem. So this is a big problem because if it's founded true, then he won't be able to play for. I mean, he's a pro player. He's got a big fan base. They'll probably reduce it to I think 2 months maybe.
That would be completely unfair to anybody. You can't just.
I know they would. I don't feel like they would let it go the whole time though.
I feel like that's possible that they won't, but I feel like Riot's integrity is pretty much on the line right here. If they reduce it because he's a popular player, then you can't really respect an org for doing that.
No, it's not G2. They're gonna try and fight it as much as they can. Because the problem with a lot of people did accuse them on Reddit of poaching when they talked to Cavs. Because people have to factor in you cannot talk to a player until that off-season date is actually a thing, which is it's like a couple weeks after Worlds or whatever. Because what it does is that it gives everybody a fair chance to get somebody.
It's not even just that. It's more so if just imagine you're on a 6th place, you go to a 6th place team and start talking to their star. You're the 1st place team. You say, hey, do you want to come to our team? And obviously, most of the time,
shot caller,
just give them some lucrative deals, and they say yes. So essentially, now they start throwing in games and scrims and stuff because they know they have a team set up. So if they throw, their value goes lower, and they can just get traded off the bat. That's why people don't allow this kind of stuff.
And plus, it's not fair to other teams that need. It's kind of like when the off season starts. It's kind of like first come first serve type thing. But if you already had your first before that, that's not fair because someone else could offer. It's basically just. I'm trying to say it's basically just not fair because you yourself already get a head start in something that is not allowed.
Yeah. Okay. Why did you blow your nose on me, man?
I want to.
Okay. Well, what I'm gonna say is I think the biggest portion of.
So this is the problem though. Yeah. Do you think he's guilty?
A lot of rumors that were circulating was that Perks essentially was picking his team, and then the G2 organization was saying, "Go ahead and get who you want. Just go out there, and we'll pretty much close the deal." Okay, so essentially, that was a big rumor spreading before this even popped up. Was him being in charge of who's on the team, and then.
But everybody knows he is the captain.
It's not about captain. It's about you. It's essentially letting a player run your organization. Eventually, when his value starts going down, you're going to run out of options, and you're going to say, this person, essentially, he's ran our organization. We don't know what to do now. You don't let a player run your organization, first off, based solely off the fact that it takes away the power that the coaches and all the staff hold. Mm-hmm. You essentially put him above those people, so he doesn't really have to.
Well, the problem is that's not technically, that can be a good or bad thing.
It could never,
depending on the situation.
It could never be a good thing.
Because you factor in, he knows these players better than those coaches do, so him picking up the players is not technically the worst thing.
Him making suggestions as who they should pick on the team is fine.
Because the player knows these players.
Him getting suggestions on who could be on the team is fine. Him saying, this is who's going to be on the team, and that's what's going to go on.
He can't do that.
Essentially, no, he can do that, because that is the rumor that's circulating, is that he is allowed to essentially pick and choose who he wants on the team, and then the coaching staff just says, okay, well, whoever you pick, we'll just close the deals if you can convince them.
Because it was just a recent one where people were talking about the whole Caps being poached. while he was at World, was it while Fnatic were at Worlds, right? It was when they were at Worlds, they were poaching him. Was that in the article?
I don't know.
There were a couple of like, a lot of people thought that people were crazy for saying that, but then when you read the article, it's actually not exactly like it's something you could believe based off recent history.
So all in all, I think that this is gonna end poorly for the G2 organization.
I really do like G2. They're so I really like Ocelot, and I really like what they brought to
Do you like Ocelot?
Such a cool dude, man.
Ocelot is like I can't imagine a situation where I say I respect him. I think
I respect him in terms of business sense and being a business owner.
I mean, maybe. I think that he is literally like ever since he's been a player, he's been a dork. Like
I can respect a businessman who markets.
I don't think he's a businessman. More so, is he successful? I don't think he's making any smart business choices. I think, all in all, I think in terms of what he does on his social media platform, he does not. He needs somebody else to run it.
Yeah, the problem is the person. If it's not him running it, the guy that creates memes and banters with other organizations.
No, it's definitely him. You can tell.
I mean, he says they're literally just joking. But.
Yeah, but he goes too far a lot of times. He should not. He should be a professional. But all in all, I think this is gonna end up poorly for the G2.
The G2.
It's not about the fines. Fines mean nothing.
The G2 army.
Yeah, but fines don't mean. You're just gonna keep doing that. So the fines don't mean anything.
Yeah,
fines
people need to forget these guys are rich.
Yeah,
these guys are sponsored by millionaires.
The fines are not the problem. It's going to be what comes of banning in terms of how long he can't play.
That's the problem, because if he is banned for 5 months, that means that he misses spring split, potential MSI, and he misses a decent chunk of the summer split too.
Yeah, well, so we'll have to see
the spring and summer split span 6 months.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens from most of the. We'll have to see what comes from it.
I really hope that he didn't do it. You know,
he definitely did it.
You want to take, you want to take the high. I want to be the. You want. I don't think he did it, or he unintentionally didn't realize he was doing it.
I feel like that's the biggest thing. Maybe he didn't realize what he was doing was wrong. No one told him. I think he's not been in a situation where he's had to deal with this kind of stuff. He essentially, if he did it on his league account, which was what most people are accusing him of.
How'd they even find that out? Oh, when you reveal your chat history.
You don't have to. Like, literally, if they say he's poaching people on his league, Riot can see your league history. chat history.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, yes. But I think that's just what's going to come from it, honestly.
So that's why they did. But they were at least thank you Yarnin and thank you Why did.
Well, who knows? Who knows what comes from it? But,
so they would. So the problem is that's gonna. that would really suck at power rankings and power ranking them. I was gonna put them as like second.
I don't think I'm gonna put them second with Perks ADC. Hello. Perks ADC is a gigantic question mark. Are you about to put him second?
I was gonna put him third at least.
Okay, whatever. All right, so I think that's it for this video.
That kind of covers it.
I think that's everything from you.
I just want to say I really do hope he didn't do it, or if he like sometimes people do things that are unintentional and people take them as like malicious.
It doesn't even matter if it's malicious. You're still not allowed to do it.
Yeah. But I mean that might get his ban kind of reduced or whatever if it wasn't intentional.
It doesn't matter if it's not intentional. He still can't do it.
So how many months did they say he would be banned?
They didn't say anything yet. They didn't say anything. That's just the usual banning in terms of what they've taken a stance on. So all right. So I think that's it. You good to go?
Army hashtag. Wait, other way around, right?